Have you ever dreamt about running around shirtless and nothing but a short little skirt and a sack satchel holding all of your junk in? All the while fighting mythological monsters, gods, and creatures of legend? Because, I mean, well, that's essentially what this is. So, Project Ragnarok has been on my radar for over a year now, ever since the original trailer was revealed. And today, we are taking a look at the self-proclaimed AAA Action MMORPG. Now, they called this a AAA Action MMORPG, not me. So don't go blaming me if this does not live up to your grandiose expectations. If you haven't already, don't forget to scroll on down, hit that subscribe button for the latest MMO news, release announcements, gameplay, and discussions that I push out every day. And if you feel that I deserve it, drop a like and a comment on the video. It's a huge help for the YouTube algorithm. Now, Project Ragnarok, henceforth referred to simply as Ragnarok, is an upcoming Norse mythology-themed action MMORPG. You know, featuring Odin and Thor and Loki and Freya. I'm sure you guys have at least watched one of the Thor movies. Don't go lying to me. This game was scheduled to release in 2021, and there has been no confirmation or announcement from the developer claiming that the game is not still on schedule to release before this year's end. Although, let's be real here for a moment, guys. It is October 14th, 2021, as of recording this video. Yeah. It ain't coming this year, guys. Ragnarok is a fast-paced, free-to-play action MMORPG with a Norse setting. MMOs in this day and age target one of three different aesthetics. We have anime MMOs, which all look and feel relatively similar to one another, with small little differences in terms of combat or character models. We have Korean MMOs, which are all, I mean, let's face it, pretty much replicas of games like Black Desert or Astelia. They have this very noticeable style that seems eerily specific to that region and that region alone. And then we have Western MMOs, which all look like Ashes of Creation and New World and Glory of Ictus. Ragnarok specifically looks particularly different, as it takes inspiration from a setting that is generally underutilized. As of October 14, 2021, there have been a grand total of 2 trailers released for this game. The first trailer was used quite deceptively in an attempt to convince players that it was in fact gameplay being showcased, which isn't specific to this game. Developers use that tactic all the time to give off this illusion of full gameplay. It helps hype players for the game, but it also sets this unrealistic expectation. The second trailer, however, which was released several months ago, went on to give us a much better look at the game. We got to see action combat in real time with the heavy FPS issues and all. And don't get me wrong, I'm not claiming heavy FPS issues here as a negative, quite the contrary. This is exactly what we want to see. It proves that this was captured in-game. Yeah, it means that they still have a ways to go in terms of optimization, there's no denying that, but what we see here is what we're ultimately going to end up getting, good and bad. As of March 2021, earlier this year, NetEase, the developers in charge of Ragnarok, confirmed in an interview that they had over 60 staff members working on this game. That was over 6 months ago. It is very plausible that within that time frame, additional members have been brought in to aid in the development process. And utilizing the very same logic, the team may have lost quite a few members to other games as well. Now, several different things were made clear during this very same interview. Ragnarok is going to be a full sandbox strategy MMO. They haven't confirmed what they meant with regards to the strategy element, nor what purpose it will ultimately serve, but it will provide players a sandbox world supposedly without limitation. Yeah, that means you can play Conan the Barbarian, you can play Barbie Island Adventures, or maybe, you know, like Barbie the Barbarian, if that's something that you're into. I don't know you. Just know that I am judging you a little bit. Although, you're not going to be limited to just a single world. Rather, it will provide players several large sandbox worlds. Yeah, according to NetEase, this game is not going to be set in just one world, likely allowing players to travel the various different realms that populate Norse mythology, kind of like what Odin Valhalla Rising is doing. And Odin made over $100 million within its first month. Crazy, right? This game, at its core, will provide a traditional MMORPG experience. You'll explore, you'll take quests, you'll hunt monsters, you'll gather resources, create and join guilds. There will be functional dungeons and raids present, which they claimed will require teamwork and coordination to execute, like in all MMOs. And like the majority of MMOs that I play, that I stream over on our Twitch channel, I will probably isn't the right word. I will definitely fail to execute mechanics successfully and likely die. But I mean, that's DPS in a nutshell, am I right? Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, typically zones in MMOs carry a limit, meaning that there can only exist a certain number of players concurrently on screen at any given time. Blue Protocol is capped at, as an example here, 20 to 30 players. Even Final Fantasy XIV is capped fairly low. Ragnarok alluded to the fact that there will in fact be a cap somewhere around 50 players per instance or per channel, which of course means less players to compete against. See, there are positives to every negative. One thing I found interesting was that they confirmed that there will be no class system present in game. In place of the traditional system, you will instead play as a Valkyrie, both male and female Valkyries, interestingly enough. And yeah, I actually had no idea that there existed female Valkyries in any world. Yet, I don't know, at the same time,
I'm oddly intrigued.
And don't act like you guys aren't as well. I know you guys. You are, after all, a reflection of me. But I digress. I genuinely hope that we get outfits that look just as good as female Valkyries. So, you play as a Valkyrie, and you earn something called Einherjar, which are in essence this game's form of classes. You equip them, and once equipped, they grant you a set of abilities and traits. These provide you with unique opportunities to play the game in a variety of different ways and fill a multitude of different roles. Granted, everyone will likely possess the very same Einherjar, so anyone will be capable and able to swap to any class to fit any situation, but you should never find yourself short anything. Unless either you or someone that is in your group is one of those annoying DPS that refuse to swap off of what they are or to something that you need. You've all encountered them, and I hope that you're not one of them. Now, this does open up the game to certain gacha mechanics, as I'm sure many of the classes that are going to be available, or the Einherjar, are going to be available to players either directly via the cash shop being sold within it, or you're going to have to roll for them like in most mobile games, much to the dismay of everyone. Oh, and speaking of, I'd forgotten to mention that this is going to be a cross-platform MMORPG. Yeah, a fully functional cross-platform title like Genshin Impact. However, this is where things get a little bit concerning. See, NetEase have confirmed that while this is going to release onto every major platform, the game specifically is being developed with a focus on mobile first, meaning that the PC and the console versions will likely suffer in some form. NetEase went on to state that they want to focus on mobile functionality first and foremost, with the other platforms being an afterthought. Less important, you know, not necessary to invest really that much time into perfecting. Yay. It's unconfirmed whether the game is going to have cross-save functionality or cross-play functionality at present, but I wouldn't see why not. Player housing has been confirmed. However, they elaborated a little on that, going on to state that the feature is actually not something that takes precedence for them, and instead will be added in as an additional feature at an undisclosed time, sometime after the game successfully launches. You know, whenever that is. Ragnarok is also being built on Unreal Engine 4 as opposed to Unreal Engine 5 like some other MMOs are beginning to already convert to. Now, this is a title that has been confirmed for a global release. NetEase stated that this game will distribute globally, but the release dates for different countries and different regions may differ due to their respective policies and regulations. This means that there is no confirmed release date presently, either within China or any region outside of China, but their goals were to hold a closed beta this year. I honestly have no idea whether or not they successfully held that closed beta, as, well, I've heard literally nothing about this game since the first quarter of this year. But if it hadn't, then we'll likely either get a closed beta test very soon with a 2022 release or a 2022 beta, and who knows when it'll release? Ragnarok features a unique setting that is generally untouched within the genre. It utilizes action combat, it has some great looking visuals, it's going to feature a narrative set within Norse mythology. It'll be cross-platform compatible with every major platform. Its action combat might be auto-target though and auto-play. This will need to be confirmed via upcoming trailers. The FPS is, at least at this very moment, really horrendous. It'll be cross-platform compatible with every major platform. The game is Chinese in its origin. There's likely going to be a cash shop with suggestive items, and confirmation that mobile is the main focus. Ultimately, Ragnarok could be a very fun MMO. Could being the keyword here. I have been excited for the game since its announcement, as I have been with pretty much every MMO. More so for this due to the fact that it actually takes place in a setting that I love. And I also love Natalie Portman in the Thor movies and pretty much every movie, although that's not really at all related to this video topic. But she did play a character in Thor, and is playing, actually, the new female Thor in the new Thor Love and Thunder movie. So that could be interesting. I'm not sure if this game will be dumbed down due to its mobile compatibility. It's very likely to be granted, but I can only hope they plan on optimizing it for every platform it launches onto. It's just unlikely that they will.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it.